se encajó mi canto, como dijera Violeta, guitarra trabajadora con olor a primavera.
Protesters and police clashed repeatedly this week in Santiago, Chile's capital city. Despite an apology from President Sebastián Piñera, crowds swelled in a week of protests amid calls by trade unions for a general strike. Police responded with tear gas, rubber bullets, and water cannons fired at protesters during sustained pitched battles. Piñera promised social and economic reforms to tackle issues at the heart of the unrest. That include pension raises, affordable medical insurance, lowering the price of medicines and electricity prices. But Piñera's comments did nothing to calm the protests, which began over a price hike in subway tickets in Santiago. On Wednesday, a 4-year-old child was killed when a car slammed into a group of protesters. Joining us from Santiago is artist and writer Paula Barouh. Welcome to The Torch.
Hi, how you doing?
Great. So, Paula, you're actually in Santiago. You're at the site of some of the unrest.
Oh, yeah. I'm in the Plaza Italia's area. Actually, it's the busiest one where all the most, brutal protests have been taking place. So there's still people outside in the street. I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it actually from here because it's very loud. I'm actually in the middle of this area right now. And, well, it's been hard for all the Chileans to go back in time a little bit, even though the feeling of most population is hope of the change, of the finally change of things, change of a scenario for us. And even though people are protesting in a very peaceful way, because yesterday I was in the street actually, so I could see it for myself, even though they're doing this in a very peaceful way.
What was it like?
It got started last Friday. I was in the street, and suddenly I saw this group of students getting very close to a subway station, and they got there. They wanted to get there, inside the subway station, and they were stopped by these police officers. Came to the scene, and they began to beat them up and to throw them some gas. And I was there. I was watching this thing.
Were you there as part of a protest, or were you...
No, I was there because I was in the neighborhood at that point. At that time, it was at noon. And I saw this whole scene, and it was very shocking, very shocking.
What did you see?
Yeah.
Describe it.
Actually, I saw police suppressing the students by carrying some sticks, one of those wooden sticks. I don't know how to call it. And they throw some gas, and the kids were trying to resist, but they couldn't. So the military, and no, it wasn't the military, it was the cops, throw some tear gas, and then they all ran away. But we were there. The tear gas bomb, I saw it. It was in the middle of the street.
People ran?
People ran, yeah. Everybody who was there, it was a lot of people there in the area. It was a busy area at that time.
So people who had no idea there was a protest were among those who were gassed?
Yeah, exactly. I was one of them.
Mm-hmm. What did that feel like to you?
I can't say that I hadn't seen this before, but it was brutal the way the cops reacted, because the kids weren't doing anything. Weren't beating people up, weren't putting some spray in the walls. They just wanted to get in the station, and they were stopped in a very brutal way. And I saw it, and it was very shocking, really.
Why was the focus the subway stations? What has happened as far as subway fares in Chile?
Right now, the president decided to stop the raise of the fare, but that doesn't solve the problem. This happened a few days ago, but people are still in the street because there's so many other issues to solve.
They wanted to raise the fare, the subway fare, is that it? How much?
Exactly. And
how much do they raise it?
30 pesos. 30 pesos. If you think about it, maybe you might, I don't know, think it's not that much, but in a monthly basis, for a family that doesn't make a lot of money, because the minimum salary here is like a joke, you cannot afford that. It's very pricey. It's a lot of money. But that was the tip of the iceberg here. What happened is the people, because of this, because of the students who they took over the stations, people began to wake up suddenly and began to have more awareness of their situation, what they had to go through all these years, paying over prices about almost everything, that involves almost everything, like the highest education system. We have like very expensive universities here. In order to go to college here, you have to put yourself in debt. It's outrageous. And people begin to react because of that. And it's not only the education, it's the health system, which is really bad, and people still dying in waiting rooms. Pension systems, the minimum salary, now he raised the minimum salary, 50,000 pesos. It's like, I don't know, a little amount of money. And it's not much. It's not enough. Actually.
Because families are much poorer there than the United States, for example, and these what seem like small increases are quite a big bite into their incomes.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And this didn't just stay in Santiago; it spread across the country.
It's spreading all over, is in the whole country. It got started in Santiago, but it moved quickly to all the other regions. It's good, It's good that people are finally doing something, speaking out, and trying to fight for their rights or what they think it's fair for them. There's a lot of struggle. Families have to struggle so much to send their kids to college, to pay for a rent, to pay for everything. And they do it for just a little money, and that's so sad. That affects us all. I'm an artist. It's not like I make a lot of money. I'm not like a privileged section of this community, of this population. It's been a struggle too.
How does it feel from your perspective right there in the middle of everything where this is going to end up?
I cannot answer that question because the thing is, the president has not proposed anything new, anything that it's going to involve a substantial change in our society structure, in how we work as a society. If he doesn't do anything, he keeps proposing these small solutions for a big problem that has not been solved at all. People are going to keep themselves in the street. People are going to come to the street every day to protest.
What do your friends tell you? How do they feel about this?
My friends?
Yeah, people are. I imagine you know people who have been going out there and protesting.
Oh, yeah. Most people I know are now protesting. I was with them yesterday, and I will probably join them in the next days. I think it's okay. I think it's great that people are speaking up. But the artists we're being like we have no jobs right now. So instead of that, people are playing in the squares. People are manifesting in the streets. They're doing something anyway, even though we are like now in a very bad situation with no jobs, not opportunity to perform because we have curfews. So the nightlife,
what are the curfews like?
Curfews last in the beginning was from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. Now it's from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. approx. 5 a.m.
And you can be picked up and arrested if you're out without permission at those times?
You're supposed to be warned first. And, yeah, if you don't have, like, a paper or something that proves that you have some authorization to be out, they can take you to jail. But, yeah.
What happens in jail?
A lot of people has been shot, actually, during curfews. Some other people have been arrested in their homes. Because I've read a lot of things and I've seen a lot of videos of people getting arrested and taken away from their homes to I don't know where. And there has been some abuse of power here. People who have been like severely damaged by the police. And the thing is going on and on. We heard every day we hear something different here.
Are people organizing? Are people organizing like freestanding public organizations that are not connected to the government to sort of channel this rage and these protests? Is there anything like that going on?
All of those organizations are in the protest right now, but there's not like a visible face, like a head that is speaking up for everybody. No. Some organizations have been participating, and they are actually, but there is no head. Mm-hmm. There is no leader.
How about the unions, the labor unions? Are they part of this?
Oh, yeah. Most of them are out there in the streets right now. A lot of them, a lot of organizations and unions, like you said, they're there right now.
Now, we know that Chile has a tragic history. In 1972, Salvador Allende, who was the president of your country, was murdered in his presidential palace during a coup led by Augusto Pinochet, who went on to be a dictator and rule with an iron fist for many, many years afterwards, and was never brought to justice for any of the things that happened. Knowing that history, is there fear of a crackdown much more widespread than what we have right now?
I think there's fear, especially in older people from my generation and older, even older, but this youth, these young people right now, they're not afraid. And most of them are now in the streets because they're not afraid, because they haven't seen anything. They know what happened because of their parents, but they're not directly involved into all that. So most people now, young people, are not afraid of anything. But yes, of course, in older people, my generation and maybe older, there's some fear, of course, that things can get worse. And even the media has been misinformed everything. Media has turned this into a more chaotic episode than it really is, really. But because of they use some of the things that happened before to put some fear in the population. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but they're using what happened before to make the people be afraid of everything that is going on right now.
What do they say?
But the thing is, there's lines, because during Allende's government, people had to do a lot of lines to get food because there wasn't any food. They were doing some pressuring the government to fall, actually. And the media has been put some accents in things that has to do with the past and not really informing what really is going on about people being arrested in their homes or being brutally treated in police stations around. And that's terrible, actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Last couple of minutes, Paula Barouh, speaking to us from Santiago, Chile. What do you think is going to happen next? I mean, in the next few hours, few days.
In the few hours, this might get worse. But today, I think my impression is that it is more peaceful today than it was yesterday. I've heard bombs, tear gas bombs, but not as much as yesterday. The next days, who knows? Who knows? It all depends on what the president can offer to make a change, actually. It depends on that. And he's slowly getting to the point, but not in a very, deep way, just trying to solve things, but not in structure, just giving some bonus and some insurance systems and some things that they don't solve the problem itself. That's the thing. If it doesn't change, if the president doesn't offer anything that's substantial to make changes, the things are going to be on, and the protests will be on.
Anything like that?
To be united as much as we can. There's a lot of confusion about a lot of information. There's a division between people because of what they think, their political tendencies, and that's hard to be divided like that. We need to be united. We need to be together besides everything, because we cannot allow death. We cannot allow brutality anymore. We lived it many years ago. So we cannot do this again. We cannot go through this again.
All right. Thank you very much, Paula, for joining us on The Torch.
Thank you.
Take care. Be careful. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
That was Paula Barouh reporting from Santiago, Chile. Several cities in Chile have been placed under martial law as thousands came into the streets throughout the country in the past week. I'm your host, Paul DiRienzo, in New York City.
Yo no canto por cantar, ni por tener buena voz. Canto porque la guitarra tiene sentido y razón. Tiene corazón de tierra y alas de palomita. Es como el agua bendita, santigua glorias y penas. Aquí se encajó mi canto, como dijera Violeta. Guitarra trabajadora